So you join us today at Westwood Lakes for round 3 of the map versus. Me and Mark are going to be on Osprey Lake, hopefully catching loads of tiny little F1s down your edges and shallow, just as many as you can catch in 5 hours.
Yeah, as Aid says, a bit of speed fishing today. We're going to go on permanent pegs 5 and 7. We're going to flip a coin right now. Winner picks the peg, then we're going to fish for 5 hours to see who goes through to the next round.
Heads.
Heads it is.
So I'm going to go on peg 5.
There you go, let's see what happens. I'll do peg 7 today. Bit gutting really, because Aidan got to pick the venue and then he won the toss and he got to pick the peg where the wind's going, but it doesn't really matter on this lake. There's lots of fish. It's all speed fishing. I mean, you can see the colour of the lake, it's getting churned up. It's really simple. Set up 5 shallow rigs, set up 3 identical edge rigs. I'm going to feed pellets really tight to the bank and I'm going to feed shallow out my hand. I mean, doing a bit of research, which is quite important in fishing. I mean, I come yesterday and everyone was catching down the edges, but every peg was in. Today seems to be different. There's a lot of fish milling round, so I thought that I was going to fish down the edge most of the day, but I really think I'm going to catch shallow today. Feeding fishery 4 mils, and I'm going to feed fishery 4 mils down the edge and go from there. Right, talking a bit about my rigs today. Down my edge, a 4x14 map IS3, really strong, robust, got the spring guy. 4x14 is quite important. You might think that's quite a lot for a foot of depth. A lot of shot right on the hook length. I'm expecting a lot of fish in my peg, so you don't really want your float moving around, striking at indications that are not fish actually eating the pellet. So big float, big bristle, strong line, lots of shot on the line so you control it. That's my rig for down the edge. Got 3 of those identically set up just for speed. And for shallow fishing, slightly different. Probably the best shallow float on the market, the MAP SF2. That's my conventional shallow float. Obviously they're awesome, but if the fish do come up to a feeding frenzy, and again you get a lot of fish in your peg, they're not always ideal because they're quite light and they can move around. So that's where we go. Over to the ever faithful MAP SF3. That's like a P-type float, again takes lots of shot, really a lot of weight in the float, you can control it when you slap it. A lot more, it's not as sensitive, so the fish really have to suck the pellet in to get it to go under. So that's my favourite float when it's speed fishing.
Right then, we're just about set up, pretty much the same as what Mark's doing because he likes to copy me, you see. We're going to be fishing down the edges with pellets, ground bait. I've got a few maggots, but I probably won't use them. No short lashes, foot of water, light elastics, and then I've got some heavier rigs as well if there's loads there, so we can get them in a bit quicker. All on short kits, and then just short shallow fishing. Got some polyball rigs that I like to use, 018 main lines. They're all on 018 main lines, so it's nice and durable. Some 014 up lengths and some white on the bagging rigs, and then on the lighter style rigs, they're just some SF ones, I think. In a 4x8, nice light ones, an 012 up length and pink map, just if they're being a bit gay. So as you can see, it's an out and out fish race. Well, that's if I can get a bite. Ooh. And I've chose today to set up a couple of normal float rigs and then these polyball rigs. When you're catching loads of fish, I don't think you can beat them. You can just control the fall of your pellet so it falls at the same speed as your feed, and you're not going to miss any bites. You're just going to pull the elastic out. When you're catching millions, that's the best way to go. Just a case of trying to find a rhythm when you're doing this. At the minute we're definitely behind. I can't line them up quick enough. I don't know if it's because he's got more of a ripple in his pegs, maybe. But I'm definitely having to wait longer for bites than that. So, and using a shallow kit and not breaking down obviously saves a lot of speed, and for this I don't bother using an expensive 901 section. I just use my margin pole sections because they're thicker walled and you're not going to damage them if you're bashing them about on your roller or whatever, trying to get in and out nice and quick. So just saves unnecessary wear.
Right. Oh my God. I've hooked a catfish aid. Right. We're 40 minutes into the match now. Feels like about 5 hours because we're both catching really well. I started shallow and it might look easy and it might look like we're catching lots, but you've still got to get into a rhythm. As you can see, it's all about being fluent. If you look behind me, I've got my pole roller set up well, I've got my landing net to hand, I've got my keep nets close, I've got my bait to my side, and you still have to get into a rhythm. As you can see, float goes in. I've got a big BB back shout on my shallow rig. You might think it looks stupid, but the reason behind that is because I'm fishing quite a big P float, MAP SF3, and there's such a tow and a ripple coming down the lake, it just bobs down and it doesn't look natural. So by having the back shot, when I cast in, I can hold my float, just like you would fish a conventional back shot on a normal rig on the bottom. I'm doing exactly the same. As you can see, it's working. I'm catching a few.
2 hours later.
Right, we've got 2 hours to go. It's been a bit of a fish race. We've been catching shallow pretty much all day between us. I mean, it's just all about keeping in that rhythm. I mean, the fish keep coming up and down in the water at the moment. I'm catching at about 10 inches deep and feeding 4mm pellets, using a MAP SF2. I had a good spell on an SF3, a big P float, but I found like that was a little bit too heavy, so back to a conventional float with a bristle. It seems to be much better. But Aidan's catching a few all right as well. So it's all good. Let's see what we can do in the last 2 hours.
So we've got an hour and 40 minutes left of the match. It's been quite slow. Oh, we lost that one. Started off long. Top kitten one. No, I didn't. I'm lying to you. I started down the edge and blanked. Mark had 5 shallow at that point, so on my shallow line I've went, and it's been spelly really. Mark's definitely got more than me. So how many have I got? I've got 340 fish, but don't tell Mark. Just fishing between a top kit and one and a top kit with a little polyball rig, 10-12 inches deep. You'll get 1 or 2 in your peg, catch them really quick and then be waiting what seems like forever. I know it sounds stupid, but it is really spally. Oh, I'd help if I could net the fish as well. There you go. I started off on the direct rig, and that was okay for an hour, but I've changed just to a standard polyball rig now, and that seems better. They seem too cute on that direct rig for some reason. Just about getting into a feeding rhythm. Sometimes it's best not to feed when your rig's in the water at all, just slap. And other times you need to feed all the time. Float's just slid down a bit there. Nice straightforward fishing, just get yourself nice and comfortable. As you see, I'm getting battered.
He had out.
Pardon?
He had out.
Had 5 F1s, mate.
What's your thoughts on it?
Eight's beat, mate. He's just caught. It went till the end till I overshotted that rig and I started catching as quick as him.
52.4. 47.2. 38.10. 52.12. And 29.8. 53.8. 37.6. 58.8. 39.10. 31 dead. 43.6. 56.2. 55 dead. 56.4.
Right, I've caught shallow all day. Started shallow on the top kit as you've seen in the video, and I've ended on the shallow on the top kit. I've had 4 mils. I fished a lassoed, super glued 4.5mm copping on the hook. I've had about 480 fish and I've weighed 301 pounds over to Aidan.
So the first couple of hours Marcus absolutely pounded me, and then the ripples got up and we both had a good ripple, and I've managed to catch enough. Again, just fishing shallow. I tried down the edge and you just had a million fish in your peg, so just fishing shallow. I fished slightly further out to start with the top kit and one, or a top kit and a short kit, feeding 4 mils, and then late on I managed to catch them feeding micros. And that I caught really quick then. Just fishing a lassoed, oiled up pellet. Finished up with 520 fish for 340 pounds.
Well done, bud. That's
Cheers,
a place
bud.
in the next round.
Thank you.